Today's lesson is chapter 6, lesson 5, line plots, frequency tables, and histograms. Today we're going to go over briefly each one of these, and I'm going to show you how to read them and how to make them. And then you'll do some practicing tomorrow in class. The first thing we're going to do is making a line plot. If we started out with a piece of information, for example, we started out with, we asked students in Mr. Knight's class, how many cows they whispered to this week. And this is how many. One student did 5, one said 6, one said 8, one said 6, one said 5, one said 7, and one said 7. So, what we're going to do is we're going to make a little line plot. So, what we're going to do is, it's kind of like a number line. All we're going to do, the lowest number is 5, and the highest number is 8. And then we're going to do each number in between. So we're going to do 6, 7, and then 8. So all we're going to do, each time that we see a number, is put an X by it. So we have 1 5, so all we're going to do is put an X by 5. We have 1 6, we're going to put a 6 by X. 1 8, 1 6, 1 5, 1 7, and 1 7. So that line plot shows the frequency that each one happened. So you can look at, if the question said, how many students whispered to 6 cows, you would say 2, because you go to 6, and 2 students did that. So the next thing, I'm going to give you a line plot, and all I want you to do is write down the numbers that are represented on this line plot. So if I look at that line plot, all I do is look at each number, and I'm going to write down how many X's there are. So I look at 15s. There's 1 15. I can tell because there's 1 X right there. So all I'm going to do is write down 15. Now I go to 16. Are there any 16s? No, because there's no red X's. So I'm not going to write down any 16. Go to 17. There are 1, 2, 3 17. So I'm going to write down 17, 17, 17. There are no 18, so I'm going to skip that. There's 1 19, so I'm going to write down 19. No 20s. There are 2 21s, and there's 1 22. This time, I'm going to give you a line plot, and I want you to write down the numbers that are represented. Okay, here's the line plot. I want you to write down all of the numbers that are represented by that line plot. Pause and solve. Okay, so we're going to have 1 1, and we're going to have 2 2s, 2 2, 1 3. No 4s, 1 2 3 5s, and then 2 6s. And the reason that you need to know this information is because at some point it might ask you to find mean, median, and mode, and all it'll give you is one of these line plots, and it'll say find mean, median, and mode. Well, if you know how to write down all the numbers from them, then you'd be able to solve mean, median, and mode from them. The other important thing today is making a frequency table with intervals, and all we're going to do on this one is we're going to make a little table down here, and on this table we're going to have a few different things. We're going to look at these numbers, and we're going to split them into frequencies, or into groups. So our lowest number is 0, our lowest number is 1, our highest number is 15. So I'm going to split these up into groups of 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 1 through 5 is a group, 6 through 10 is a group, and 11 through 15 is a group. So then all I'm going to do is I am going to count how many are in each group. So the first group I'm looking at is 1 through 5. So I want you to write down I want you to just do a little tally, how many numbers fall between 1 and 5. So I'm going to do a tally below, and then I'm going to write the number. So do this with me. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 numbers between 1 and 5. Then I'm going to look at 6 through 10. So how many numbers fall between 6 and 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. Then I'm going to look at how many fall between 11 and 15. 1 and 2. So I'm going to have 4, and I'm going to have 2. And how you make, and then the next thing that you're going to do from this is you're going to make a histogram. A histogram is basically taking this chart and making it into a bar graph. The reason it's a histograph and not a bar graph is because this represents an interval, not just one number. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to erase the top of this. Actually, I'm going to rewrite this a little bit easier. By the way, Bree just brought it to my attention. It sounded like I'm saying Instagram. I promise this is not Instagram. It is a histogram. So all I did was I just put that information up in the corner so that I can make myself a graph now. So all I'm doing is I'm basically doing the same thing I would do in a bar graph. The only difference is instead of this representing just one number, one thing, one piece of information, it's actually representing the numbers 1 through 5. And it's gonna look like a normal bar graph. It's just going to represent more than that. So if I look at it, one of the highest numbers is 6, and then 2. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go use a 1s as my intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then I'm going to, I would label, I didn't give you what it was, but I would label what is this information. I never told you that. And then what I'm going to do on the bottom is I'm going to do 1 through 5, and that's going to be its own bar. 1 through 5, remember, 1 through 5, there were 6 of them. So we're going to have our bar go up to 6. That means there were 6 that went 1 through 5. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do 6 through 10. And that bar is going to go up to 4. And then the last one is going to be 11 through 15. And that number is going to go up to 2. So the things that I don't have on here that you need to have is you need to have title and a label. But since I didn't give you what that information was, you don't need to have it. Anyways, so that's how to do a histogram. Histogram is basically a bar graph, but instead of just one piece of information here, it's like from 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15. So that's really all there is that you need to do. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to write down the answer to this for tomorrow. This is kind of a challenge. We talked about intervals, and the interval of this one I chose 1 because our numbers are 6, 4, and 2. I shouldn't use 5s or 10s. I'm going to give you a set of numbers, and what I want you to figure out is what should your interval be, and that's your problem for tomorrow. Okay, so the numbers are 22, 34, 58, 64, and 27, and I want you to tell me what interval should I use. And what that means, reminder, is when you have your bar graph like this, when you have your bar graph, what numbers are you going to go by up the side? What numbers make sense? I'm going to give you a clue. Obviously, it wouldn't be 1 because that number 64 is too big to do 1 up to 64. And it obviously wouldn't be hundreds because this number is smaller than 100. So I want you to think about what would your interval be. All right, see you tomorrow.